We have another NHL trade, once again involving the Minnesota Wild, this time acquiring a defenseman, this time from Tampa. We'll discuss the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have another trade, once again involving a defenseman and the Minnesota Wild. So earlier we saw the Wild trade Addison to the Sharks for a 5th rounder in 2026, and now they've traded a 7th rounder in 2025 to the Lightning for Zach Bogosian. Now between Bogosian and Addison making very similar money, only $25,000 difference, so not really a whole lot in that regard when it comes to cap perspective. Obviously they move a smaller puck moving, offensively gifted power play kind of guy in Addison, right hand shot, a much older, grittier type defenseman. Like I said, making similar money, a little bit more beefier back there, but I still don't completely understand the Minnesota Wild. In my opinion, kind of might have given up on Addison a little bit early, but they get an older, grittier, rugged defenseman who, in my opinion, is kind of nearing the end of his career. Tampa kind of did him a favor here. I think of all places they could have moved him, Minnesota's a good landing spot for Bogosian. From a personal perspective for him, it's going to probably be one of the easier transitions. He did have a limited no trade clause on his contract, so it's possible that he might have had to waive it, but I would imagine Minnesota would have been one of the destinations that wouldn't have required it. Bogosian, I believe, spends a lot of time or lives in the Minnesota Twin City area in the off season, so I'm sure he's happy with that area. Of course, he's good buddies with Pat Maroon, and not only that, but he skates with a lot of the other Minnesota players. Not all of them, but the ones who kind of stay in the area more. He skates with a lot of them in the summer. Not to mention that his brother actually works for the Wild as well in their analytics department. So if Bogosian's going to get moved from Tampa, this is probably a best case scenario for him, strictly from a friends and family personal perspective, and on all that. So I'm sure he's quite happy to move on. Obviously in Tampa, they basically weren't playing him, like he wasn't really getting an opportunity there. They decided to move some of the other defensemen ahead of him on the depth chart, and it was time to move. So essentially they do him a favor by moving him, giving him more of a chance to play, and he gets to go to an area that like I said, is quite comfortable for him. So from that perspective, it all makes sense. I just still not sure I'd be moving a young right-handed shot offensive D for a guy near the end of his career who's older and a little bigger, stronger, beefier, whatever you want to call it, a little grittier. But I don't know. That's just me. But the Wild certainly have an idea here on how to kind of make some adjustments to kind of shake up their decor here a little bit. Spurgeon's supposed to be coming back, I believe, later this week, so we'll see. I know the start for the Wild hasn't been the most ideal, but they're still early. I think they still have time and should still be able to likely have a good shot at being a playoff team, but certainly you don't want to wait too long if you need to make adjustments. Philip Gustafsson, for the first time during his time with the Wild, has had a slow start as well, and they certainly want to hope that doesn't continue too long as well. So we'll see. Let me know your thoughts on this trade and the adjustments here. Essentially, the Wild today traded Addison for Bogosian with some picks involved with some different teams, but that's at the end of the day how their roster is impacted. Let me know your thoughts on that. We'll be back later with another video to discuss all the other news and rumors from around the NHL. And of course, if you're new, make sure you subscribe and stick around so you don't miss anything. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.